morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So it's nearly 25 to 1 in our old England, my delicious little babies, on this Monday, 2nd of March, 2026. The sun has got his hat on, hip, 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 hooray, okay. A little bit chilly, but the sun is shining, so they've decided to give us a bit of sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine, whoa. My juicy little lads. Come on, little lads. We having a party? Come on. Stay on. Stay on for Mama Bear. Come on, you know you really want to. Okay, let's just say, yeah, you can see the lights, can't you, my delicious babies? There's lots of them. Okay, my delicious babies, so not to worry about that, not to worry about that. Now then, my delicious babies, first of all, something that I've been forgetting, that doesn't mean I just got an itch. I've just dyed me hair, my delicious babies, and to be honest, I can't be bothered to get the hairdryer out, okay, so at least I've just been honest, my delicious babies, okay? I'll throw it back when I've done my video. To all my little beautifuls, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you all most deliciously. Now then, yeah, I kept forgetting to say, didn't I, my delicious babies, yeah, WhatsApp. So sometimes I will call one of my beautiful and dear, delicious little friends. And sometimes my beautiful and delicious little friends call myself. Well, it appears, my delicious babies, because they've changed something on WhatsApp. And I don't like it, because before you could just press clear chat and then that's it, job done. But now they've put something at the bottom. You'll know this, my delicious babies, wherever you are in the world. And then you have to then go, so, you know, instead of doing the clear chat, you know, you have to do clear chat, then you've got to click something else, and then it removes itself. Anyway, my delicious babies, well, I've noticed, you know, there's a little green, tiny little light on the right-hand side of my dog mode, just like it's doing now to record my video to your beautiful selves, my delicious babies. And it's recording, there we are, my conversations. Okay, my delicious babies. So there's 2 so far. So I'll have to see if somebody else calls myself and if it does it again. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm not sure if it's a setting or something. I just do not feel so. I just feel that I've been saying for months and months and months and months on and off on my videos, my delicious babies, there we are, about WhatsApp, okay? I'm certainly not seeing that either as a trusted way of sending and receiving messages either, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, they continuously try to tartan the net, don't they? Just join the dots. Okay, my delicious babies, anyway, that's just my thoughts, you know. There's nothing wrong with my noddle. I can tell you all that now. My delicious babies, nothing wrong at all, okay? Secondly, what I want to say is that, for myself, I do not agree with any wars, okay? My delicious little babies, no, I do not, okay? And I want to make, there we are, that very... we don't like this word, do we? We seem to hear it everywhere in recent times, you know. But I'd just like to make that very clear in my video, okay? And that's what I've got to say there. Now then, my delicious little babies, what else is it that I want to talk about today? Okay. I've got 2 videos, my delicious little babies. Now, there's a video from... I typed it in, my delicious little babies, okay? I wanted to see what the latest was with that little critter. Okay, my delicious little babies. But this is a video that was a couple of months ago, okay? So this uploader happens to have 819,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And this will just be a one-off, okay? But where I will say that everybody who I advertise, I mean, I'm, one-offs are one-offs, you know what I mean? I'm sure that they're nice uploaders, but I'm talking about anybody regular, who I advertise on a regular basis. Of course, they're very lovely, but I'm not really going to say that about this one. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Okay, my delicious little babies. The uploader is called Yuval. I'll spell all this for you, my delicious little babies. It's all spaces. Yuval space Noah, Noah, like Noah's Ark, and then space Harari, Harara. Okay, my delicious little babies. Yeah, stumbling here. Okay, I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Yeah, rightfully so. Okay. I'll just repeat the uploader again. Yuval Noah Harari with spaces. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then. But like I said, this video was a couple of months ago. Making sense of a world in crisis. Yuval Noah, just joining the dots once more. Yuval Noah Harari. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'll repeat this again, making sense of a world in crisis. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I thought I'm going to listen to what your man, the little gremlin, I'm going to listen to what he's got to say now then. Okay. So he said this towards the beginning, my delicious little babies, that we out here, you and I, my delicious little babies, we are the guinea pigs. Okay. Now, he was the same one who said months ago in another video that we are, what is it? Or words to effect, hackable animals. He's the same one, my delicious little babies. But it appears that on this video, my delicious little babies, that he seems to want to change his approach. There we are, approach. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? And of course, he has mentioned on this particular video, I mean, I'm not talking to the alternative media who follow him and who listen to his videos, no. I'm talking to our delicious little babies who are maybe not very familiar with this little critter and gremlin. Okay, my delicious little babies. Well, then he mentions that, in recent times, so to speak, sorry, excuse me, words to effect, that he's met politicians, and for most of them, some of them, that they are very nice, they're very nice, okay, but that they've got difficult jobs. Well, I have an answer to that, Harari, okay, and I say to my camera, no, they are not, okay. They know right from wrong. They're grown up. There we are. They're a big man and big woman. And I get sick and tired. I mentioned this on my other videos, my delicious little babies. I'm not saying this to yourselves, okay? I get sick and tired where I hear other uploaders, because there we are, a rather large number. Okay, my delicious little babies, what's the agenda there? Where they'll turn around and say, oh, yes, but, not all politicians are bad. Yes, they damn well are. Okay? Okay, and the reason why they are my delicious little babies, okay, is because they know with all these crises, okay, which this one here also, there we are, happens to contribute towards, okay, all the crises are caused by, there we are, the politicians who are run behind the curtain, there we are, by somebody else, my delicious little babies, or something else, or things else. Okay, my delicious little babies, so no. I do not want to hear that shout, as far as I'm concerned, okay? He even said in his camera, but this is going towards the end, to do with the politicians as well. So in other words, what's the long and short of the majority of the video is trying to sell to you and I out here, my delicious babies, that, we must trust, see, stumbling again, not changing my video, that we must trust politicians, and that we want a new set of nice politicians, who are going to do things nicely. No. Because as far as I'm concerned, my delicious little babies, these are the problem. Which, there we are. They are the problem. Okay, my delicious little baby, so I do not want to hear that shout. Anyway, then he happened to mention something along the lines of, you know, somebody could listen to what somebody else says. We all know what this is about, don't we, Harare? We all know what this is about. He doesn't like it. It's all right for him to call us hackable animals, okay? And like on this video, guinea pigs. Okay, my delicious little babies. I mean, I happen to love guinea pigs. It's it's the words he uses. Okay, the fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies. No, we're mankind. Okay, my delicious little babies. So we're not hackable animals, and we're not guinea pigs. We're mankind. Okay, Harari. There we are. Got it right. Got it right. Now then, my delicious little babies. So then he said, somebody could listen to somebody else, or say, for example, listen to somebody else and listen to a video, whatever, along these lines. They will want to take something out of the video and have something horrible to say. That's what he was saying. And he went, don't do that. So what you're saying, Harari, don't do that. So what's that then? Are you just saying it to be nasty, passy? Or are you saying it, there we are, because it's a threat? Don't do that. All that you are, Harari, there we are, is a cartoon COCK. That's what you are. There we are. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? And all you're trying to do now, right, because you know that things are not going well for yourself, isn't it? And it's certainly not going well for others, is it? So what you're trying to do, you're trying to come across as all nicey-pacey. I'm here to, to give you information to how to come across as a nice mankind. Well, no, you're not. No, you're not, Harari. You're nothing of the damn kind. You've helped, there we are, to create this problem, okay, that we seem to be experiencing in this world. So yes, I do take parts out the video, if I'm one of them. I'm one of bloody thousands, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is this, there we are, your damn self, isn't it? So what you're trying to do, you're trying to sell it to mankind. Yes, you are, Harari. You're trying to sell it, there we are, to mankind, okay? That, I'm here to explain things better and to do all this. You know what? There we are. You're deep in the pit as well, man. Get it right. Okay, but I wanted to listen to it, my delicious little baby, so I've given you the information. Please take a listen. It's up to yourself, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. Like I said, this is a one-off. But at the end of the day, then you just make of it as what you will. You see, there we are. With myself, I cut just figure of speech. I cut through the red tape. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? I wouldn't trust is lower than a snake's belly. You cannot get lower than that, my delicious little babies, okay? It's quite happy to take the pee out of you and I and anybody else in the world, any other mankind, my delicious little babies, okay? And feel all good and nice about his damn self, isn't it? But on this video, there we are, he's trying to approach, shall we say, matters from a different angle. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And of course, hoping in the herb, there we are, that it will soften you and I out here. Well, it doesn't, Harari. So get on your back and pedal fast. You should have known what you were doing. There we are, from the get-go, you twat. And that's what I've got to say, my delicious little babies, okay? So I couldn't give a flipping figures F how he comes across, you know what I mean? You don't frighten me, you cartoon COCK, not a flipping tall. Okay? Just understand that now then, isn't it? It seems you got a lot of ka-ching, ching, ching. You're told what to do, isn't it? Yes? But strip that away from you. Where would you still be? There we are, in the Middle East, isn't it? You're very happy to tell others, where you come from, isn't it? Yes? Don't want to hear it. Now then, my delicious little babies. So what's the next thing I want to say to you? Now, this is a very interesting video, my delicious little babies, okay? And this upload happens to have 7.71 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. Okay. And right, sorry, excuse me, my delicious little babies. This is called capital T in YouTube. They're both on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Capital T for thee. Okay. What's that saying, my delicious little babies? You know, it's all right for thee. You know, and not for me. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? This is how they all seem to operate, isn't it? Yes. My delicious little babies. Space, Feynman, space, way. Okay, so Feynman, I'll spell it for you. Capital F, E, Y, Y, N for November, M for mother, A, N for November. Okay, my delicious little babies, then space, way, why, where. Okay, my delicious little babies, the Feynman where. Now, the video should read, and it's nearly 34 minutes long, my delicious little babies. Now, by the way, I just have to point something out. I do not need to listen to any videos to tell myself about trees or whether or not to touch a tree, to hug a tree, or, you know, whatever. Because I've done this, there we are, since I was a wee little young bear now. Okay, my delicious little babies, wee little young lass, you know, climbing trees and everything, okay? I happen to love trees, okay? I happen to love nature itself, okay, my delicious little babies. But this came up on my feed, okay? And should anybody happen to have just a little bit of time, there we are, out of the day or not, my delicious little babies, okay? Please, could you just take the time just to please listen? This is so very important. Okay, my delicious little babies, yes, okay? I'm going to read out the title. Why you should touch a tree every day. The science nobody talks about. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you. Why you should touch a tree every day. The science nobody talks about. Yes, my delicious little babies, and now we're going to close our book. Okay. This is explained to you now. I would suggest, you know, to do with the coding, because you got a lot of 3, 9, 12. You got a lot of that, okay? Please just do not worry about that part, okay? It's the video, there we are, that I'd please and thank you, like you to concentrate on listening to, and he shows on the blackboard, my delicious little babies, what he's doing now. It's a very old video, okay, my delicious little babies, to take a look at, okay? Please and thank you. We always need to go back to where we need to go back to. Now then, let's have a quick discuss. So yes, so as we very well know, trees have been around. Sorry, my delicious little babies, never needed to stumble there. Forever, okay. But of course, you know, we've got the green team, you know, in the world, my delicious little babies, who like to talk about all green, flying in their poxy jets and whatever else they want to do, my delicious little babies, because they're all little critters and cretins and little gremlins. Okay, there we are, my delicious little babies. And at the same time, you know, in order to look after our beautiful little trees, so we are decide to cut them down. They decide to, you know, to put up all these low satellites or whatever else, whatever clock they want to do it, my delicious little babies. And this is what they decide to do. Do you see what I mean? Okay. I wouldn't say that that's very good, you know, for the greenery, would you, my delicious little babies? You know what I mean? And then they put up these new little trees. Okay, so they feel that they're helping the environments. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? But the fact of the matter is, our beautiful trees are all there. There we are, ding, ding, dong, dong, as you and I very well know, my delicious little babies, for a reason. Okay, now for myself, I always give my little trees, well, they're not little, they're rather tall, my delicious little babies. I always give them a kiss and give them a hug. Well, why not? It's only what I've done. There we are. And I'm 52 now, my little babies. There we are. It's only what I've done from when I was little. And nobody ever once mentioned to myself when I was little, I do not recall it anywhere. Well, do not climb that tree. Do not hug that tree. Like, do not go on that patch of grass. Do not pick that flower. Nobody once said that, Mards and little babies. Do not touch the bushes. You know what I mean, Mards and little babies, okay? But when you look over the years, it's like if somebody sees myself and they do not know me, and they see me hugging a tree or giving the trees a kiss, they're like this. You'll get the odd ones where they'll go, like the other day, there was a lovely dear woman, bless, and I give my little trees a kiss, you know. And I said, I just love nature, you know what I mean? And she said, that's real. And I will say this, what a lovely woman. And she said, yes, she said, it's lovely to do that, isn't it? What a lovely dear woman. But you have many, okay, where I've been called everything from you silly mad bitch, you silly mad cow. I've been called everything mad to little babies just for hugging or kissing. There we are, trees. You see what I mean, mad little babies, you know. And during this video, it's like he's absolutely banging right, is this Feynman, okay? Where he said that, you know, if you look at a lot of mankind, okay, I'm not going to say everybody, of course I'm not, but if you look at a lot of mankind, Martin, little babies, they'll walk the same way every single day, and you could have tons and tons and tons of trees either side of yourself, you know, at the back of you, at the front of you. But they never once sort of say, oh, I just feel like giving that tree a hug today. You know, because trees, Martin, little babies, there we are, give us so much back, okay? Yet they're not recognised. And I'm not going to say for all, like I've just said, but there are so many where they're just not recognised. But if you, that's just came into my noddle. But again, going back and when I was little, but if you look at little bairns, okay, what do? Little bairns, they like to, you know, play on the grass, sit on the grass. They feel at peace. You know, they'll take their little shoes and socks off, you know, and they'll just walk on the grass because they're walking naturally. There we are, which is how we're all supposed to be. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. You'll see little bairns, you know. I mean, I haven't seen any for many years, actually, my delicious little babies, to tell you the truth. But there are little bairns, okay? And what they'll do, because they're really sweet, you know, not in that way, not in that way. They're just so sweet, you know, and they will go up and hug a tree. You know, or it could be like a photograph that, you know, maybe one of their mummy or daddy, the family members are taken, you know, and they're stood right next to a tree. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes hugging it, sometimes just stood next to the tree. Okay. So young little bairns, do not spare a thought like that. My question is, why should, and once again, I'm not talking about everybody, but why should most mankind who are grown up, adults, big men and women, why should they look at somebody else strangely because they want to hug and kiss trees? Do you follow what I'm saying, Martin, babies? And me personally, I don't take any notice. I really just do not take any notice at all, because unless whoever it is clothes myself, feeds me, okay, clothes me, okay, pays my bills, well, they can F off nicely. I've got nothing to say to them, you know, get on the bike and pedal fast. Maybe for themselves, there we are, they need to have a checkup from their neck up the damn cells and look at the damn cells to even make that sort of comment or statement towards myself or anybody else for that matter. Maybe for them damn selves, there we are, they need to go within their damn selves, there we are. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies, yes. Okay. And that's what I want to say. But this is a very, there we are, interesting, there we are, and fascinating video, there we are, for ones to please take a listen to. Okay. If nothing else, for ones to get what I feel, there we are, a better understanding. And it's really important, it's so important to listen. You know what I mean? Because you must remember that roots go deep underground, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And I remember him saying towards the end of the video, where it wasn't until a student, okay, my delicious little babies, to do with a 5,000-year-old tree. Okay, my delicious little babies, well, nobody knows how long trees have been up, do we? My delicious little babies, who is here to tell us, okay? But they have been here, there we are, for a mighty long time. But, where in this video, Feynman said at the end of the day that this student got the tool stuck in this mighty old tree. Okay, but it broke some kind of other link of some sort, words to effect, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So whether or not this is true, or whether it is true, you know what I mean? But it's the student where I went ping. Yeah. Because when you're trained to do things, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Just like, have you ever looked at a sea life centre, like where it's all open and, you could have anything like dolphins. I just love it. Anything, me. Seals or anything, they're just trying to do something, you know what I mean? And then what do they do? What's the consequences, my delicious little babies? Ones could spare a thought for many professions. What do they go and do? They go and flipping F it all up, don't they, mad? There we are, don't they, mad delicious little babies, you know what I mean? That's called a student. You know what I mean, mad delicious little babies, yes. So now, that's the end of my video, because I'm going to go and have my lunch now. Okay, my delicious little babies, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And there we are, love you also, okay? Please look after yourselves now then. Please try to look after others. And I'm not telling anybody what to do, but please, even if somebody's having, there we are, a really bad day, do you know what I mean? Why doesn't somebody just go and, hug a tree, you know what I mean? Give a tree a kiss, acknowledge that tree that maybe you walk past it, there we are, every single day. Just all little bushes, because I say hello to everything. Hello. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? You will feel, there we are, 1,000 times better. I always do. I always feel whenever I hug a tree or whenever I kiss a tree, I always feel, there we are, at peace. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's absolutely banging correct in this video. Sorry, that's just one last thing I want to say to do with this video. It's like, if you hug a lamppost or a pole, well, it's very cold, isn't it? But it's got wires running through it. It's a different kind of thing now. It's different to hugging or kissing a tree. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? It means there we are so very much more. So please, I know that, there's going to be my little beautifuls for those of you who do listen to my videos. So thank you. Thank you for any likes or any comments occasionally, and and for any views and for any likes. Bless you and thank you. I love you also. You already know that anyway. But for those of you, I do not need to say this, but for others who may pass by my channel, well, please, maybe there's that tree. For some of you, if you're blessed to have a garden, maybe there's a tree in your front garden, in your back garden, and it's there every day, but you just walk in and out, and maybe you do not pay much attention. Do you know what I mean? Well, now's the time to hug a tree, kiss a tree, because you feel that calmness. There we are. That's the best way to explain it. It's like a beautiful and warm, fuzzy feeling, because you're hugging something that really, really appreciates you. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? That's why they quite often say, some of the best thoughts that one can have is if you go and take, could be an A4, could be half that, you know what I mean, Mads, little babies, and a little pen and paper, and some of the best thoughts in the world. Maybe you're wanting to change your career. Maybe you're wanting to, I don't know, do your home a different way. Maybe for some in the world, it could be anything in the world, okay? Anybody in the world, sorry, okay? Never needed to stumble there, okay? What I said, okay? Just, just change my words. Maybe for some of you, maybe you could have work problems, you could have family problems, you could have any sort of problem. For some who are suffering severe depression, take a pad and pen out, go and try to find, a park bench where there's a tree that's nearby, or go and take one of these little camping chairs. You can get them, I don't know, you used to be able to get them for a tenner, ka-ching, you know what I mean? And go and take your little chair and just go and sit under a tree as close as possible. You know what I mean? Give it a kiss, give it a hug, and just start writing. Write about everything that you're not feeling happy about. Write about everything that's maybe brought you to that time in your life where you're saying, I'm really not feeling very happy at the moment. Why is it that I'm not feeling very happy? What can I do about it? But once you sit down right next to a tree, Mads, little babies, with your old pen and paper, and you start writing, it takes that pressure. So if you've got a heavy heart, it removes, there we are, that pressure. Care Mads, little babies, for whoever happens to be passing, because like I said, this is part here, it's not going to be for everybody. But once you do that and you've finished, just close your eyes, just close your eyes, sit back, keep your legs apart. I mean, I didn't mean that in the wrong way, Mads, little babies, you know what I mean? But if you're wearing jeans or shorts or leggings or whatever, and just keep your legs apart, because that's that natural energy. If you can take your shoes and socks off, there we are, that would be most delicious. And just sit back, just put your hands one on one knee, one on the other, and just sit back and just inhale, hold, and exhale, and just do that, 3 or 4 times, you know what I mean? And just breathe in, there we are, that beautiful and warm and fuzzy, there we are, energy. For some of you, Mads, little babies, that's just came into my noddle as well. For some of you, you may even feel a shift in the old tummy area. You may even feel that bit of a shift, you know what I mean? Because it's that release. But when you've wrote down what you wanted to write down, just getting back to that small part, when you've wrote it down, it's up to yourself, okay? Because you've got that off your chest, you've got rid of that, or what's on your mind and shoulders, okay? You can either tear it up or you can screw it in a ball, okay, Mads, little babies, okay? If you're, I won't say the other. But the point of the matter is, Mads, little babies, you probably, if you're in a public place, you're probably better off tearing it up, okay? Because you don't want everybody reading, what you've wrote, okay? And then once that's gone, okay, you just say to yourself, you're gone now. That's another weight off my noddle, off my shoulders, and off my heart, okay? Because when you say heavy heart, okay, well, I'm a firm believer in that, okay? That's why if I've got something wrong with myself, okay, and something's bothering me, my little babies, you know what? I feel it best, there we are, to speak it out loud, to say what I've got to, there we are, to say what I've got to say. Okay, my little babies, because I always feel better doing that, okay? Like decades ago, I said it to my beautiful, dear little friends over the decades, even ones who I do not see, I haven't seen for decades. And I've said to them, I said, please, I said, just write it down, write everything down, then just tear it up or just screw it in a ball and throw it away. Okay? And believe you me, there we are, Maatlich babies, there we are, it does work. Okay? And then you've sort of released it. Please release me, let me go. Do you know what I mean, Maatlich babies, okay? So I hope that, you haven't felt like I've just gone on. You know what I mean? Like some nutty little flipping header, old-fashioned Irish saying. Well, I mean, I am a header, but in a nice way. You know what I mean, Maatlich babies? But I hope that you do not feel like I've just gone on there. It's just what's happened is that wasn't rehearsed there. I've just let it flow. So let your love flow. Do you know what I mean, Maatlich babies? And it'd pay you to listen to those songs as well, you know what I mean? Because you just feel all warm and there we are, fuzzy inside. Do you know what I mean, Maatlich babies? So you do see me smile occasionally. Okay, Maatlich babies, okay? So till my next video, thank you once again for listening. Please, there may be somebody out there or some bodies, bless your beautiful dear little souls who are going through something, please. Why don't you try what I've said? Okay, you'll feel, there we are, fan dabby dursy, there we are, you'll feel 1,000 times better. Okay, and then you'll feel lighter. You'll feel like Mr. Softy. You'll feel like you're walking on air. Do you know what I mean, Maatlich babies? That's all you need to do. Forget these effing bloody therapists. They're near flipping therapy their damn selves. You know what I mean, Maatlich babies? That's why they've been trained. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because it's all about the bass, no trouble. It's all about the bass. It's getting that, the tune right. Let's just say that, Maatlich babies, okay? So you just look after yourself now. Then I've just got ding ling ling with bell, ding ling 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 ling. I've just got a bell, just a little bell. Okay, Maatlich babies. So very much love. Take care. Look after now. Thank you once again for listening to any of my videos. Okay, there's always a point to what I say. Okay, Maatlich babies. So much love. Look after now. And if ever anybody is sorry, never needs to stumble there. Suffering with some sort of depression in some way, please, please try, some of what I've been talking about today, Maatlich babies. It's up to your self-care, but you'll feel 1,000 times better. Love ya. Goodbye.